here shortly. We're going to have a Thursday night race here. 7 guys coming up, 3 of them rookies. So it's going to be an interesting race. And I thought, well, might as well do us a little bit of a race here. And I think it's going to be a good one. The chat is live. If you want to say anything, ask any questions or whatever it may be. I'm going to give me a quick drink real quick. We're waiting on, it looks to be Glenn Burden, and then we'll be right into this race. Hope you guys enjoy. Thank you, Jordan, for Let's Go Racing. You're actually in this race. Jordan Fulkerson actually on deck. He'll be helping track marshal. Tonight's drink that I'm drinking, if you guys were wondering, dang, butterscotch root beer. Good. Of course, you guys already know that's followed me long enough here watching these streams that the butterscotch root beer is really, really good. Reminds me of a butter beer from Universal Studios. Let me check with the racers. All right, is everybody ready? They said no. I hope you guys enjoyed the other night when Drew came over, or well, the other day, I'm sorry, on this last Sunday when we had the dual race. I hope everybody enjoyed his commentating along with me. I really did enjoy his time, and hopefully he'll be able to come back and join us again this Sunday. I'm going to go check on the guys real quick. Be right back. All right, they are ready. All right, watch your lights. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, Tom Payton there on black, Glenn Burden on purple, Bruce Bullington on green, and Robert Bishop on orange to round up these guys. Down low is where most laps are going to be turned, so we're going to focus in on black lane. Tom Payton getting into a little bit of contact there with Glenn Burden. Our setouts currently right now is Jordan Fulkerson, the guy there in the comment section for Facebook. He's there at the end of Dead Man's Corner in the hyper green colored coat. We got Clay Dame there, just right out the exit of Dead Man's Corner. And then here closest to the camera in the bottom left of the viewing area, you'll see Paul Woosley there at the High Banks corner. So far, everybody running nice and clean together. Like I said, Tom Payton there out in front Glenn Burden just biding his time just there right behind Tom Payton there, as Tom's really pushing what he can for the black lanes. But we can see that Glenn Burden, with his new set of bushings he just bought here in the shop, really trying to push the subject as he wants to make that pass on Tom, but Tom not giving him any leeway, as it seems that they're both gear ratioed right. Tom Payton actually gives him the leeway, allows Glenn to go on by, as Glenn was putting a little bit of pressure on there. Up above Glenn there on orange is Robert Bishop here, just starting last weekend on Sunday. The duel was his first race opportunity. Did quite well for his first time out, and as we can see again here today, no wrecks. That's what it takes to get a win here, as he gets passed on the outside by Bruce Bullington. Bruce Bullington back in good form. Also in the dual race from last Sunday. Bruce having just a little bit of issues with his car last Sunday. Looks like he's got his car shaped out and doing quite well this time, as it seems to be more freed up than the other guys. He was working on his car pretty good at the beginning of this race. He's been here for a couple hours now, actually testing and tuning. As we continue to progress forward, we kind of got everybody stretched out a little bit more. Down there on black, Tom Payton still giving it everything he's got. Will he let up another lap? Well, it doesn't look like he's going to have to, as it seems that Glenn Burden came off there on the crook of the track. But all four of these guys relatively close. 49 is the low portion of the laps. Robert, our rookie here, so to be expected as he's trying to get his rhythm down, but quite in there with the rest of the guys. Not saying much there differently. As I say, 1.99 his fast bestest lap, but running right there median wise with everybody else with a median of 2.09, which is about average for what can be ran on orange. I've seen as fast as 1.78 on orange, so you can be a little bit faster, but then it all boils down to a lot of trigger control and how good you got your car set up. We move over here to the track mate. We can see Bruce Bullington there with 58 laps leading the way. Close behind him, Tom Payton with 57. Glenn Burden also very close behind, 56, and Robert Bishop very close behind also with 54. Tee times there relative with one another within 1 second of each other. So as we still progress in this heat, we've got about 3 minutes as these guys tinker around with their cars the best of their ability. We hope that they can figure out how to be a little bit quicker, but at the same aspect, everybody running relatively neck and neck with one another. In the top right hand corner of your screen, see Robert Bishop, newcomer, sitting over there by the Timberwolf car hung on the wall. That was given to us by Sam Nelson. We appreciate that. If I'm not mistaken, Sam Nelson actually painted that car back whenever they were actually racing that car in NASCAR. Also, right in front of him, you'll see Bruce Bullington, our current leader, taking his usual spot. That box that he's got is a 1 of 1, he told me tonight, from Jay Latham. And I'll tell you what, Jay Latham makes some really good slot car boxes, ladies and gentlemen. That man could make a career making those boxes. I wish that Bruce was actually on the other side of the table so you could see what it looks like on the inside, but beautiful is the only word I can use to describe it. In front of him, we see Glenn Burden twisting and pulling on some stuff there. I don't know what it is quite, but in front of him, we see Paul Woosley hiding back there in the corner. In that hyper green hoodie there, we see Jordan Fulkerson. He's been here before, you guys know. He used to race when we first started opening. He raced in a couple of the FCR races under the moniker, what was his moniker? Eagle Eye Security. Under the moniker Eagle Eye Security. He actually was one of the first guys to sign something up on top of the drips here at Lanes Raceway, and it actually does say Eagle Eye Security. Yet to get a win, but we'll see how he works out today, as he's got a blueprinted chassis here from Lanes Raceway, and we pride ourselves for sure on the ability to make some of the fastest cars in the GRC circuit. So from here on out, it should be relatively about 1 to 2 people track marshaling from here on out. Since we're using the Ghost system, we have to run a few more heats, but at least we get the guys setting out. And it kind of looks like right now we got a little bit of a cluster up happening here. Jordan Fulkerson running the outside there in that Hulk colored green car of his. looking to be running quite well there on red, actually, with a 2.192. But as we go down just a little bit lower than him, we see Robert Bishop running also quite well on the white lane with a 2.172. Both of these guys pretty much rookies, but both of the guys have experience. Jordan Fulkerson has experience on a slot car track. Robert Bishop having experience behind RC cars. Both of these guys, relatively speaking, from a standpoint, are equals on this track tonight. In front of him, we see Tom Payton there on yellow lane battling out as he gives a little bit of a brake check there, allowing Bruce Bullington to go by on blue. In front of him, we see Glenn Burden tearing it up on the black lane there with 87 total laps turned right now currently. The median of 1.93 tied up with Glenn Burden and Bruce Bullington, both of these guys running hard. We can see Bruce Bullington back in good style here tonight as he is running a very, very fast blue lane. If anybody knows who can run a fast blue lane, we'd probably give that credit over to Greg Kimball. As Greg Kimball a couple of days ago says, blue lane is the fastest. Of course, I would disagree, but when Greg's on blue, he can flat put the numbers down. So I never have been very successful on blue. Orange lane's more of my favorite lane if we're talking middle lanes here. But nonetheless, both of these guys running identical median lap times when it comes to 1.94, 1.94, and their best laps concurrently just a hundredth of a second off or a thousandth of a second off from each other. So we go back green racing there, track button pressed. We see these guys, they all know the rules that if one of the racers hits the track button, it goes in front of the line. But if we get our track marshal to hit the button, then the cars can go back to where they're seated. We get a red flag rotation and yet another clean heat. These guys are really running clean tonight. This race will be over in a shake of a lamb's tail. A few of the guys already mentioned they were getting kind of hungry. We see Bruce Bullington out there in the lead still with 60 laps average. Glenn Burden there with a lap down average of 59, so relatively close there with Bruce Bullington. Tom Payton there with average of 57. Robert Bishop with 53 as he's running higher lanes, so it's going to be a little bit high right now. Jordan Fulkerson also a little high with 53, but like I said, they're running the higher lanes right now. A little bit harder to run those lanes. Plus, Glenn Burden, Tom Payton, Paul Woosley, all having somewhat, and Bruce Bullington also having somewhat of a little bit of an advantage over Clay, Robert, and Jordan. As Clay, Robert, and Jordan just now getting started, and they're running here with the grown-ups, everybody. They're running here with the guys that's been doing this for a couple months now, got the rhythms down. We go to the oval track here just to see how everybody heads towards the pits and works on their cars a little bit. We see Jordan Fulkerson up there in the top right hand of his getting started again, kind of hard. He might need some oil. If he does, probably wouldn't hurt for him just to come on in the shop. But it looks like he's going to get some help there from Bruce Bullington. Those are the kind of guys we got here at the circle track here. When everybody just gets started, sometimes you can't get it all at once. We all kind of help each other out here. And like I said, we got stuff here in the shop to help guys just getting started. And we understand that you don't always have the stuff that you need 24/7 when you get going. We see a bunch of these guys here got quite new and fresh controllers. Some of the guys still running controllers without any breaker sensitivity check, but that comes with whether or not you stick it out and want to do these kind of races and stuff. We see Jordan Fulkerson getting his controller hooked up there on green, getting ready to battle. See Robert Bishop and Clay Dame up there by the crook of the track, next to Bruce Bullington and Tom Payton. Tom Payton doing his usual routine, blowing down the motor, keeping her cool. That's always a good thing to do to keep these cars running smooth. Having quite a good day here at Lanes Raceway. Got caught up on quite a few things, worked on a few cars, had a few newcomers coming in, testing out the tracks and stuff that they had seen on the internet. So it's been a pretty eventful day. Had quite a good time. Fixing to head back green here. Currently, we have Bruce, Glenn, Tom, and Jordan in on the heats. As we got Paul Woosley on deck, he'll be coming in next on Red Lane. As we get two cars involved in an incident there, one of those Tom Payton, or actually Jordan Fulkerson and maybe Tom Payton. It's hard to see. Glenn Burden maybe. Somebody come off and just really got smoked there, it looked like. So everybody seems to be smoothing out a little bit there. As I was just listening, because that was a pretty hard hit there. We see Glenn Burden going on the inside there on yellow lane. Underneath him, a purple lane, we see Bruce Bullington and him doing a little bit of a chain reaction there, getting actually all the way up to the top part of the track, getting Jordan Fulkerson hit. As Bruce kind of did a little bit of a slide job there, and it just barely missed as Glenn Burden got caught up into that incident. We see another slide job taking place there, but that one was successful there. We now see Jordan Fulkerson there kind of struggling on green, as he's probably got a bent vehicle now, as he's took 3 good and hard hits. And that was Glenn Burden's car coming off there on yellow. Trying to focus in here just a little bit more. We see our current leader, Bruce Bullington, on purple, still pulling in some pretty good laps there. So we get 2 more cars off the track there. Yeah, I would almost say for sure they're either might need to focus in a little bit on Jordan Fulkerson's car there to see if it's bent or if he's just getting sideswiped. Well, it looks like Jordan just drove that one just wide and too deep. A lack of focus there possibly, but the car seems to be handling quite well. Now that he's got his eyes back on it, we'll see if he can pull it together and keep focused. Like I said, pretty much kind of new to the racing, and he's definitely been, as we've seen him coming around the crook of that track there, his front end being bent, causing him to come out. He's just going to have to try to limp this baby home for 11 seconds until the heat's over with, for one of us can take a look at that car, maybe get him back straight. He took 2 hard wallops at the beginning of this race heat, and that seemed to be detrimental for his car. I'm going to take a quick look at it as you guys can take a quick look here at the track mate. head to the live stream there. Help Jordan out a little bit as his car was pretty much mangled, ladies and gentlemen. He took 2 hard hits there, and of course these cars made out of brass. It was pretty bad for a car that was structurally sound. And anyways, we got our bit back in there. He should be under pretty good control now as he rounds about the track. Jordan Fulkerson now on blue lane as we head into this next one. Paul Woosley on red, Tom Payton on white. To be Glenn Burden and Jordan Fulkerson next to each other on this one. He just exited the corner a little bit too aggressively there. Smoothness is definitely king, especially when you're talking about running these faster cars. These faster cars, if you get them a little bit slop happy coming out of the exit of dead man's corner, especially on the lower lanes, you're moving at quite a substantial speed there, as you could tell just from that point right there as he took the dive bomb on Glenn Burden, and then he allowed Glenn Burden back. The smoothness is king, and he is driving him deep as we see Glenn Burden making the wise decision to kind of back off from that run. Probably saved them both a big incident there. Like I said, a lot of the times guys don't know no better when it comes to dive bombing in like that. Especially on the corners, these cars can get unsettled. So Glenn's always very patient when it comes to new drivers, and he tries to help them the best that he can. And Glenn will always let you kind of slide by for the most part. So it's good to see that Glenn's trying to help Jordan out the best that he can, being this early on and everything. We get a car coming off there. I could hear it. We get a track marshal there, Robert Bishop, in the crook of the track to get that shut off really quick. And I believe that was Glenn Burden there coming off on orange. If there's anybody here watching, I would appreciate right now. I just got a message. If you would please pray for a friend of ours, Jeremiah, as he's in the ER right now with high blood pressure and extremely high heart rate. He's very close to us, and we would appreciate if all you guys would help and pray. As I'm worried about him right now. You want to find out about that? But back to racing, we see Bruce Bullington there with a median of 1.9, holding it down there on black lane. Jordan Fulkerson back into decent form there. 46 laps turned there on blue. Actually doing quite well. I say that, and then he comes off there a little bit aggressively. And dead man's corner there. Something going on. Can't get his car in the track. I don't know if he's been involved in incidents or not. Kind of took my eyes off the screen there for a second. We see coming back. That car seems to still be quite smooth as he's dive bombing down again, trying to chase down Glenn. Is he going to make it? Ooh, he run in that deep. I'm surprised there wasn't 2 cars coming off there. We see Bruce Bullington down on black, really just turning those laps as he's down low. Nice coast by the 2. We see there Glenn Burden just a little bit back from Jordan Fulkerson there in the high banks. Oops. Let's see what screen I'm on here. So right now we have Bruce Bullington still out in the lead with 61.5. Glenn Burden right there on his heels with 57.2. Tom Payton with 55.2. 53 of Jordan Fulkerson. 53.5 of Robert Bishop. And Paul Woosley in the back with 54 as it was his first heat. Only comparison there between him and Jordan Fulkerson. 1 lap actually more than Jordan Fulkerson. Paul Woosley been out of the scene for a couple days, maybe a week or so. But he's coming back in true form there. We also see Tom Payton there actually in pretty good true form there. 53 laps turned there on white also. 53 being somewhat of the consensus laps there when it comes to red and white. But more of the focus here, the top 2, black and purple, are the lanes of concern here. It seems Glenn Burden had a pretty hard time there on purple. That was a couple heats ago, as there was quite a few wrecks taking place during that heat. We see over here in the oval cam all of our guys here working hard. We see Paul Woosley there with his beautiful car made here at Lanes Raceway. Well, at least the body was. He's wanting to get ready to get in our new series coming up, Drag 'em and Drift 'em. So it's a truck series where that they're going to start out on the drag strip, and it's single elimination, pro tree elimination, and the guys are going to drag race before the race starts. And the semifinals, fourth and up, basically, get to choose what lane they start on, and then we go immediately over to the oval race, and these guys have themselves a ball, I guess you would say, and they start doing a little drifting and drafting, I guess. Nonetheless, we see Clay there, Clay Dane there on red lane. Excited. Got him the peach tea there, Hillbilly Peach Tea here from Lanes Raceway. He enjoys that. Also, we see Glenn Burden there getting his vehicle ready on white, and what a blue truck that baby is. Glenn Burden, his paint job is fluorescent blue backed with chrome. And I'll tell you what, that thing looks slick, especially with that beautiful sticker on the front hood. Paul Woosley there and Glenn Burden cutting up and cracking up. Just a couple old cats in the alley, beating and banging on each other on these cars. We love to see it. Both of the guys running a 281 Pro controller from here at Lanes Raceway. That's a DeFalco, for those that don't know. Pretty much top of the line when it comes to digital controllers. They do have ones more expensive, but nonetheless, like I said, for our purposes, they can run Group 7, Group 27 style cars and do it very efficiently. Next to them, we got Bruce Bullington on the right side. He's getting ready. Still got that smooth mobile going tonight as he is taking off and leaving people there on yellow. Glenn Burden's car coming off in Dead Man's Corner there on white lane. Everybody else kind of under the control there. See nice smooth movements here by the rookie pretty much of Jordan Fulkerson there on purple. Got a little wild there coming out of Dead Man's Corner. That could cause his car to slip out if he's not careful. Smoothness is definitely king in the tri-oval. Keep your car smooth, keep it planted, and you keep the power down, keeping your car as straight as possible. You will have more speed. Cars get slopping side to side. You're just excess side movement. You're just losing so much time. There on green lane, you see that beautiful ride. Orange in the front, fluorescent orange in the front, fluorescent pink in the back. That is the car Paul Woosley, with his favorite whiskey brand, I guess, of Kentucky bourbon, or maybe he's just a Kentucky bourbon trail type guy because he's got several of them stickered up that way here at Lanes Raceway, and pretty cool little liveries basically whenever they all get said and done. That one there, I think is a Rooster brand or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but nonetheless, the front of it looks really, really cool. It looks like a Rooster that's been beat up and wore out. As we get a rider there on green with Paul Woosley. All right, and he's getting that car put back on red, but we got two cars coming off here. All right, and the track was called efficiently. We see Glenn Burden there. He kind of slipped off up there in red, and Clay kind of swapped lanes with him, got down there on white there in the high banks. But they got their cars back situated. There also in the high banks, we see Bruce Bullington, fastest guy out there tonight. Excuse me. Paul Woosley's mobile stalled out over there. Tom Payton's taking a quick gander at that baby. As we see, most likely it's his brushes, or it could be a disconnected wire. After going side to side so long, if you don't resorter those ends on the guide flag, they'll tend to break. I like to do it about after every 4 races or so. After about 4 races, it's probably about time just to go ahead and trim that up a little bit, move her forward, and resorter those ends, just so that you know that don't happen during a race. Because some of these races, we don't shut the track off, and when we don't shut the track off, of course, you're losing laps. That whole time, you guys might have noticed, that was just a full screen circle, and I was kind of just getting involved in it. Sitting here enjoying my dang butterscotch root beer. Very, very good root beer. It's a nice soda. One of my favorites here at Lanes Raceway for sure. But I will have to say that Clay Dame there on red, one of his favorites is definitely the hillbilly peach tea. I just brought that up earlier, but he really enjoys it. He's actually been pushing it to people out here. When they ask him about getting drinks, I'm gonna get me a drink. Somebody's like, "You need to get that peach tea." I've heard him say it several times. So we enjoy Clay doing that because that helps us sell peach tea. As we go back, green racing here, Bruce Bullington still in the lead, 47 laps turned. He's having a good run of it. Jordan Fulkerson right on his heels there with 47 now. Paul Woosley on green with 45 and 50 laps, or Glenn Burton there with 46 laps. Paul Woosley approaching 50 laps. Clay Dame on red, of course, having some issues up high. Most likely just having to run that lane out. Of course, Clay Dame doing really well too, being it's his second race that he's ran here for the GRC. That's why I thought tonight would be such a good race. We got about half the field that are rookies for the most part, and then the other half we got some veterans and stuff. But a rental not built. What happened? Do you need a motor? I mean, this is as close to original GRC as you got. Like I said, that's you got a tool. Do a quick motor swap. No wait on you. It's rookie class. Do you need a tool? Little quick motor swap there, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. Paul Woosley had a motor just die out on him, so took a rental motor here from Lanes Raceway and stuck in there real quick. So his gear ratio is going to be a little off tonight, but I don't think anybody's going to mind. We got 6 seconds left to finish this heat. You know what's going to be funny is if you get out there with that rental, and yeah, smokes you with a rental motor. I didn't think about that. I guess I could have took one of them. Yeah. Uh, well, it looks like Glenn Burden's going to have a protest tonight if Paul Woosley wins it with a motor here from Lanes Raceway's rental selection. We'll see how that works, though. Might just focus in a little bit here on that green lane of Paul Woosley and see if that baby's able to catch the rest of the crew. Tom Payton looks like he needs to go outside for something. We'll see what that is. Thank you all for the likes. If you would, like, subscribe, share to all your friends. That's on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. YouTube, of course, doesn't get to see it live, but they get a higher rendered version of what you're seeing here today as we upload that. Okay, so they were going to get Jordan back into the race here. It's Jordan there on purple. You'd hate to lose some of those laps. Woo. We see old Glenn Burden there coming off hard there on the High Banks corner of that track. Me and him actually earlier this week was actually talking about maybe doing a complete teardown of his vehicle and going through it. And he said, well, what do you think about the back end of my car? And we looked at it, and I moved it side to side, and I was like, well, okay, the bushings sorted in? Looked, and sure enough, they was. And he was still using the bushings from back in the basement days, and them babies were so wore out. I said, well, that could be one of the issues. I said, well, you want to try that first before we move on into full teardown and blueprint in your car. He said, yeah, we'll give it a shot. So he's giving it a shot tonight. Looks like there might still be just a little bit of some issues going on there, but he is quite quick there. We can see there 62 laps turned, only 2 laps difference from him and Bruce Bullington are on black. Of course, he was caught up in a little bit of the stuff there on purple lane, as you recall from our earlier heats. But at the end of this, we see Jordan Fulkerson's car not doing too bad, 54.2, involved in a few incidents himself. Robert Bishop, Paul Woosley, Clay Dane. Paul Woosley having some issues there with his car. Of course, his motor just stopped out on him. Clay Dane there also 47. So, I mean, sometimes you get you a good motor, and it seems like Paul Woosley, at least for the past 2 or 3 motors he's gotten, just not really good selection. Almost like every motor that he's been selecting here recently has just been duds. But I remember those days back in the day whenever we used to do sealed canned Parma motors, and it was just a bag of nuts, really. You get some of them that were just rotten, basically. And I think Paul was just having a bad string of luck, but I know Paul, eventually he's going to get him one that's pretty good and quick, and he'll be right back up on top for sure. And he might actually have that right now with the one from the rental bunch. Good? You did? Good. Huh? So. Okay. That'll work. Jordan, let me know he's going to get him a body tomorrow. I said, well, that'll work. Jordan already excited, pumped. He come in here a while ago before the race started, and I didn't know if he's going to come a high-speed come apart. He was so nervous. I said, man, you got butterflies? And he's like, yeah. He hadn't been in the racing scene for a little bit, but he still supports the old Lanes Raceway. He's got that Lanes Raceway hat. He comes in, plays pinball, does drag racing. He's a jack of all trades here at Lanes Raceway for sure. and somewhat of a comedian. 10 seconds left to go before we go green. Let's swap back over to the regular camera here so you guys can see the track mate going. We got Clay Dame on green, Bruce Bullington on orange, Paul Woosley on blue, and Jordan Fulkerson on black. Thank you for the love. We appreciate that here at Lanes Raceway. So our track marshals on deck right now. Robert Bishop, he'll be coming in this next heat as, well, you see Paul Woosley there. His cart is stopped again. Let's see what's happening. Possibly a controller issue. I don't know right offhand what's going on. Maybe he hooked his controller up wrong, blew a pod. Something's going on here. Yeah, it's a new controller he's getting there. It looks like from Bruce Bullington. Like I said, every one of our guys here really good to each other. We're all in this together when it comes to being a hobby. I don't really have one person that I can say is just hard to be around. All these guys are like brothers. I know most times you'd say that, well, brothers are hard to be around, but not my brother. I mean, me and him get along great. So it's funny that we're just all kindred minds here for sure, and enjoy our time. Good, clean fun. Nobody takes it too serious. We love to beat and bang, and we love to call each other cheaters. We love that. So we go by green, and his car is just straight stalled out again. Paul Woosley just cannot buy a bucket tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Cannot buy a bucket. Let me go check something real quick. It might be a trip breaker. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the culprit. I don't know if it'll focus in or not. You see it up there by the TV. Broke wire. I'm going to get that sorted in for him real quick, and I'll be right back with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him back underway. He's going to limp that baby to victory lane. I feel it. I don't know about you guys, but he's really struggling tonight. So wish him luck as he gets that body put back on. It's a good looking body for sure, and hopefully he can get that baby going through there. And this could have been, like we was just talking about a while ago. Robert said, do you think that could possibly be the issue, what the other motor was before? I said, well, yeah, it possibly could. So I'm going to put his motor on a power supply here after the race is over with, just to check and see if that motor's still good. If it is, it was probably just that wire just being broken too, and he was just every time he's going around the corner losing connection, and it just looked like his car was dying. But in actual reality, it just didn't break through the RTV of that wire. So we're heading back green. Our 3-track marshals now. We got Glenn Burden, Tom Payton, and Robert Bishop. Tom Payton quick with that, getting Paul Woosley's car back on. Might have to call him Octopus Arms number 2, as he was very quick with that. On the inside there on black, we see Jordan Fulkerson making the pass. Jordan's car running really, really smooth tonight, as that was quick with a track call button. Like I said, Jordan's been out of the game for a bit. Needs to work a little bit on smoothness. Of course, he does have a controller that doesn't have a sensitivity or brake control, so black lane's going to be quite tough, as it's going to be 100% brake or nothing. But nonetheless, that car running quite smooth. He's putting in the laps. Glenn Burden snags a car up, and so did Tom Payton, as both of them got their cars put back on. Robert Bishop there, of course, back on standby, as he gets him a quick button press there to get that track shut off. And we're back green racing. I see Paul Woosley taking that dive on the inside there of the green lane of Clay. Clay's truck, he just got it painted up here. Ooh, as we get a car coming off from the inside, taking out Paul Woosley car. If Paul Woosley didn't have enough bad luck, he's got bombs happening from underneath him. We'll see if Paul's able to limp this baby across the line. It looks like it's just struggling all ends now. Everybody's just catching him, and he's just having a rough go of it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just wish him some good luck. Help him to get back in there. And he'll see if he can make it through the race. He gets passed on the outside there on Orange Lane by Bruce Bullington. Bruce having bad luck, similar to what Paul's experiencing tonight. He had that the other day on the duel, but his car back in good fashion tonight. Bruce really just melting her down with 1.97 median. Jordan Fulkerson actually got a median of 1.9 there, a little bit lower than him on black, and a best lap of 1.788. That is quite fast for a car. So whenever Jordan is running good and clean, he does have a mobile that can motivate, to say the very least. He's just got to really focus in and keep that car on, because if you're not on, you're not making laps. As Jordan Fulkerson straight slams into a car of Bruce Bullington, flying up over the hood there on the back stretch by the crook of the track. But Bruce Bullington, in good spirits, laughs it off. I don't even think it even fazed him. So we get all three of these guys lined up. Clay, Bruce, and Jordan there in the hot banks. Like I said, Clay got his... Ooh, Clay and Jordan Fulkerson coming off simultaneously together. Almost like they coordinated that like some synchronized swimming or something. But nonetheless, they're back into the mix. We see Paul Woosley coming off and giving a straight dump to Bruce Bullington there with no bars held, as if he had a grudge or something. I've never seen such animosity towards another human. But nonetheless, they're coming into the high banks. We see Paul Woosley just giving that straight bean curdle to him. Gave him, if anything, gave him a few more car lengths up front. So Bruce might actually thank him for the extra boost of confidence. Bruce makes a good quick dive there on green lane of Clay and did it in excellent fashion as he gets a nice coast there out of high banks in the orange lane. Bruce doing really well tonight. 61.2 is an average lap for Bruce. So we head over to the track mate, take a quicker look in on this. 61.2 average for Bruce, 56.2 for Glenn, 54.8 for Jordan, Tom Payton 55.2, Paul Woosley 52.3, Robert Bishop 53.5, Clay Dane 49. Now Clay, of course, only running 2 of his heats, and also Robert Bishop only running 2 of his heats so far. Robert Bishop in pretty good standings right now, running an average of 53.5. Robert has nothing but opportunities of moving up when he comes back in to run his heat. Clay Dame also here with 49. He's got nowhere to go but up right now currently, as we can see that his first heat was rough on red. 47 laps, quite lower than the average, but 51 laps of green. Not too bad, somewhat around the median, except for Bruce. Bruce is somewhat of an outlier with 58. A minute and 45 seconds left to go. We're going to go to the oval cam and check these guys out as we see Robert Bishop coming back in on red lane. And we're going to see how Robert's going to fare this time. He did quite well for his first outing in the slot car field during the duel Sunday. So now he's coming back in. We're going to see if he's going to be able to increase some of his average lap time. He does have the equipment to do it, as he is also rocking right out of the gate a 281. This was my brother's old controller, but it's got it all on it. I think it even has the mash buttons on it. He's got the voltage gauge, all of it. But Robert, he's a man of passion for sure, and kind of very similar in the same aspect as me, you know, quality over quantity. It's best to get the stuff out of the gate, the stuff that's going to be good, if you even plan on doing it whatsoever. And Robert and me are very much alike in that aspect. I'd rather spend the money out of the gate and rock and roll and be right there with the guys. And he has just proven that point to a T. So he's right next to Bruce Bullington there. And for his first race back in the mix from the duel, doing quite well staying on the track. 23 seconds left to go. We're going to move back over to the old faithful race live cam. But you know what? 16 seconds left to go. We got 2 track marshals. Everything should be on the up and up as we go back racing. There in the high banks, we got Clay with his body yet again. It's a dark gray metallic with a fluorescent yellow stripe down the center. And I know you guys can't see it on screen, but on the side, it actually says "Send It" on both sides of the truck, which is quite funny. There, a nice pass on the outside. Jordan Fulkerson makes that clean pass on the inside of Paul Woosley. Paul Woosley, I mean, at all regard, could have gassed it a little bit. Thankfully, he didn't, as he made that nice clean pass. He's going for an inside dump, and he did do the dump, as Jordan Fulkerson gave that dump to Clay Dane on the inside. Dive bombing in. Sometimes these guys don't have the control they need, but all things will be repaid in kind, as racers don't tend to like to be getting slammed off the track. That time he was actually able to make a nice clean pass on the inside. His car really blistering fast there on yellow. Jordan Fulkerson making a lead for his first time back in several months. He's climbed up to second position now with 303. Bruce Bullington still just an outlier, out in front of everybody, nowhere to be touched. And I'm sure that Bruce's fans are enjoying seeing Bruce back on top, running a very clean section here on white. As you see, his car just very tucked in, the back end just nice and sweeping cool. We get several of our track marshals somewhat being overwhelmed by several cars coming off simultaneously, trying to be quick enough to get their cars put back on, not able or successful to do so. So they had to hit that button. Tom Payton hits it again to get this race back underway. Out in front of everybody, we see Jordan Fulkerson there, yellow lane. As we continue on, can Bruce reel him in is the real question there on white. How much faster is Bruce's car? Well, Bruce is having a hard time reeling him in, especially that low. So that kind of lets me know that Jordan's car is competitive with Bruce Bullington's car, but Bruce evidently just having a lot more success just running consecutive laps and staying on the track versus somewhat of the rookie Jordan Fulkerson there having somewhat of an issue as he comes in hard, as you can tell right there, causing somewhat of a full J of the track on this night at Lanes Raceway. Tom Payton going down there trying to find his hooks of life there to try to get Paul Woosley's car out from the center of the track. The instigator of that incident, of course, Jordan Fulkerson, new to the game for the most part. Sometimes you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Can't remember exactly who sung that song right offhand, but I'm sure you guys know in the chat. Nonetheless, they got the car. They're going to get them put back on. That is the name of the song. It's called The Gambler, but I can't, what is it? Kenny Rogers. My wife corrected me. Kenny Rogers, of course, was the author of that song. But yeah, and that's something Jordan needs to learn. Is he drove that thing in there aggressively on the nose, into the side of a car, on the outside of him being just a hair too aggressive as he drove her in there. But nonetheless, we see Clay in good spirits as we get a good rotation there. Kind of a little bit flabbergasted of words. But as you start to race a little bit more and you start to get a feel for it a little bit more and get a little bit more of a rhythm, you kind of end up doing similar to Glenn, where that you, if you know you're fixing to be passed, you just kind of blip it there on the front stretch, let the guys go on by. So there's no incidents to be had on the corners of the track. Bruce Bullington, of course, about to finish up his race here. He's got one more heat to go, and his race will be finished. Jordan Fulkerson in second place with 332, really stepping his aim up as he's got two more heats to go, doing his best to make one last ditch effort at it. Going to have to increase his average or he will be surpassed by Glenn Burden and possibly Tom Payton. Tom Payton and Jordan running very, very close together, averagely speaking. And the averages at the end of this is what all matters for the most part, especially through the crossover of each racer. Because each one of these racers race next to each other twice in a European rotation. 1 minute and 43 seconds left to go. Of course, we do enjoy running the Ghost Race here at Lanes Raceway. We're on 8 of 12. I'm going to head over to the Oval Cam. We see everybody. Maybe it's getting a little cold out there. All these people with their hands in their pocket. It could be nerves. I don't know. I think we got her going about 68, 70 degrees here at Lanes Raceway. But what does it look like outside? With 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go. What a beautiful night. Nice, clean, and clear, and it looks like maybe my radiator's busted on my car. As there's a lot of liquid coming out from underneath my car. Probably something I need to take a look at. Hopefully, that is just rainwater dripping down from somewhere, and that is not my car being destroyed from the elements. We'll have to wait and see, as tonight I might be walking home. Well, on a brighter note, 44 seconds left to go as we get ready to see these racers really do it in. We see my wife behind me putting up the extension cord I left out when I was sorting in motors. That's what guys do. They make a mess, and, well, for the most part, she cleans it up. "20 seconds left to go." These guys are bouncing back and forth. They're eager. We see Robert Bishop here. I'm going to kind of focus in a little bit on him on this green lane. Sometimes a hard lane to run, but a lot of people enjoy the green lane. I myself have trouble with the green lane. I am more of a purple and black lane. Me and Glenn kind of kindred spirits when it comes to that lane. Love it. I just love how fast you can go, and it just feels so good when you pass people. Robert Bishop out of the gate, though, involved in a little incident there. Him and Jordan Fulkerson, neither one wanting to lift. As we get back, it was the icicles. It wasn't my car. Okay, well, good. So I just got an update. It wasn't my car that was destroyed. It was just icicles melting, so that's good to see. We see Paul Woosley there now down on the black lane, running pretty good and consecutive, kind of staying out in front of the mix of everybody else. Jordan Fulkerson there on orange lane, still consecutively keeping it in as he runs on the inside there of Paul, or on the inside of Robert Bishop. Robert Bishop giving him just somewhat of a blip there on green. Ooh. And just like a champ there, we see Paul Woosley just straight smoke a car as he was trying to get put back on purple of Clay Dane. Clay come in here earlier and he was like, "Hey man, I really just want to get another body and keep this one because I'm afraid it'll get damaged." I told him, I said, "Man, we can spit those dudes out in 15 minutes. I said, "You go out there and race that thing. Don't be afraid to wreck it." But nonetheless, Clay running a pretty exceptional race tonight. Get involved in very, very few incidents. Down low, quite hard to put cars on the smaller lanes without the other lanes getting involved. This requires drivers to look ahead of their car to not get smoked by a car being put back on. Smoked is just another term for getting your car knocked out of the slot. I mean, for those that don't know. Howdy. How you doing? Pretty good. So we got 14 seconds left in this heat. We got another car coming off here. Bruce Bullington involved in several of these cars. We had a track call button hit. Clay down off in the high banks. Bruce Bullington also getting that car put back on orange for Jordan Fulkerson. All three of these guys involved in somewhat of an incident here just recently. High banks not being so much of an issue as it was the other night during the duel. The duel, it seemed like it was never going to end. Everybody wrecking there in the high banks. But tonight, everybody seems to be back to normal, wrecking in Dead Man's Corner, and for the most part, not doing a whole lot of wrecking. So that's a pleasant sight to see for sure. So we get a little bit of a gear grind there. Hopefully, somebody's gear can hang on until the end of this heat. So we see Bruce really struggling to get a car put back on, and that gear really ripping it there on Green Lane. I'm going to take you over to the track made here. I'll take a small break and I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I'm just going to leave the microphone on. You guys enjoy this ninth heat. guys do. They actually have fans. Some of them. Thank you, Tony. It's good to see you again. Sorry, I'm helping a customer right now. But I appreciate you tuning in and watching Bruce. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Alicia said hi to Chelsea. She's watching on Twitch. Tell Alicia we said hi. Chelsea said hi also. Thank you, Tony, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Sorry I wasn't able to commentate more. Got a little bit busy here. It's been busy here at Lanes Raceway the past couple of days. It's been a blessing for sure. Thank the Lord for that. Bruce Bullington's going to take the lead. Jordan Fulkerson back in the mix. It's been a while. He's going to take second place, and Glenn Burton's going to round it up for your top three. These are what the total laps are. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching.